Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Vicky. So before we go into the main topic, let me just briefly introduce myself. As you can see from the screen, I'm a senior manager of Gamuda Capital. What basically we does is we evaluate projects, investment, and we sit in a group to see how best we can allocate our capital and how best we can create value for the company. And also very happy and proud to share that my company recently was being awarded as the Company of the Year by the H Billion Ringgit Club. So if you want to find out more about Gamuda and my line of work, please feel free to reach out after the session. So a bit of my background as well. I started off my career as an auditor in PricewaterhouseCoopers. I think it's pretty typical for all ACCA grad. I was also an ACCA grad. I then spent 2 years in investment banking, another 2 years in private equity to see how the buy side and sell side works. I then moved on to corporate finance doing in the corporate. So part of these have to thank to CFA because it's definitely helpful being a CFA charter holder to opening these doors for me. So, very honored to be back today to talk about greed. And what is greed? Greed is such a big word, right? To simply put, greed is passion and perseverance. And passion means doing work that you liked, and perseverance is doing what you like repetitively, day in, day out, until you achieve the desired outcome that you want. And to put this together, you get greed. And how does this relate to my journey of becoming a CFA charter holder? I have simply broken it down into 3 lessons here. The first lesson is talent versus effort. The second is perseverance and endurance. And last but not least, power of practice. The first one, talent is only part of the success equation. We always hear a lot of people talking about the importance of talent, but we don't talk enough the effort behind it. And if you can see, talent surely give you the head start, make you stand out initially, but it doesn't guarantee you success. This is why many of the CEO, they aren't necessarily the smartest in the room, but in fact they shouldn't. Don't laugh. In fact they shouldn't. They can hire, but they are often the one that work hardest. So to give you an example, a bit of my own story, how I met CFA. I encountered CFA 10 years ago. I was given the opportunity to participate in the CFA Investment Research Challenge. At a point in time, me and my teammates have zero clue about CFA. We are just final year student of ACCA. But with a little bit of talent, we pushed through it. In fact, it's quite a smooth sailing one because we are crowned as the national champion for Sunway and represent Malaysia to participate in the regional round. But here's the thing, talent can only take you so far. My first major setback is when I failed my level 2. And prior to this, I was a straight A student for all major exams. I was a prize winner, and I thought I knew what I was doing. But I did fail. And this was a very great wake-up call because this shows, and it made me realize that talent without effort is not enough. And that's lesson 1. Lesson 2, enthusiasm is common, but endurance is rare. If you see the line here, the first line, on expectation, we always expect. With efforts, it leads to a straight line progress. But often than not, life usually don't turn out this way. And it's contested with challenges, failures, and we'll fall into this valley of disappointment. And this is where endurance becomes critical, and staying in the game makes all the difference. So when I failed level 2, I have 2 options. The first option is an easy option, is to drop it. After all, I have my job, I have my family, and I do not need another validation from CFA. But I did not. I choose the second option, which is a more difficult option, is to stay on what you have started off and finish it off. It is the mental strength and the greed that kept me focused and ultimately led me to success. And that's lesson 2. Endurance is the key. Last but not least, doing hard tasks will help you improve. As the saying goes, you know, the slow and steady tortoise will always win the race. And life is a long journey, just like what Mr. Khok has mentioned, right? It's marked by later milestone. When I failed level 2 for the first time, it was a setback. For the second time, it was a huge disappointment. But I never give up. It was the determination that carried me through. And finally, I take level 2 for the third time and pass it, and level 3 for the first time. So, and I got my charter holder, I would consider still relatively young, at my late 20s, but it's all the sweeter after knowing the effort that I pour in and I finally achieving it. So that's practice makes perfect. And when it comes to greed, it's very easy to think of it as, you know, overcoming academic challenges, pushing through exams, and finally bouncing from failures. But greed doesn't stop there. Greed is a quality that carried me through every stage of my professional life, and it's also very crucial in shaping my career. Even now, whether it's structuring the deal, or managing projects, or even evaluating investments, these tasks can't be accomplished just by talent itself. It requires resilience. It's the ability to navigate those challenges and the mental strength to stay focused and to keep on to doing what you're doing until it succeeds, even though the path is not clear. And it's not just my career, right? In all of your career, inevitably, you'll be faced with moments of difficult and also moments of self-doubts. But in those difficult situations, it's not talent that sees you through, but rather it's greed. It's the passion and the perseverance to continue to put in the effort, even though how tough it is. So I say greed is something that turns challenges into opportunities, and in my case, it's setbacks into lifelong lessons and hard work into success. So instead of thinking it at how do I push through and how do I weather it through this storm, we should actually put in the effort and thinking of embracing the process, growing through the process, and come out stronger with newfound strength and clarity. So finally, I would like to wrap this up with an expectation versus reality graph. And I hope that there's something valuable that all of you can bring it home. It's on the left side, if you see the expectation, it's a straight line progress. But in reality, more often than not, it's a winding road with bottlenecks, with detours. So I hope that everyone can bring back the mentality that I have in sitting for my exams, which is the passion and the perseverance to push through those challenges into your life and your work and your career. So all the best in your journey. Thank you.
Thank you very much. A round of applause for Ms. Chuang Vi Kie, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. Our next guest speaker for this segment, please welcome Ms. Khok Kuan, CFA Portfolio Manager from Khok or KWAP. Tepuk tangan, everybody, come on.
I don't have as many slides as Vicky, to be honest. Yeah, good afternoon. Good afternoon right now. Yeah, thank you for your time. I really appreciate CFA Malaysia for having me today. Yes, as introduced, I'm Khok Kuan, but you can call me Lee Kuan. I have been working in this capital market for about 20 years. You guys are special because normally when people ask, I don't share how many years that I have worked in the industry because I don't want people to gauge my age. And this year, 2024, marked my 13th year with Kuan as a fixed income portfolio manager. For those who have not heard about Kuan before, we are actually a sovereign pension fund with 169.8 billion ringgit asset under manage. We do invest in both public market assets like equity, fixed income. These are the things that I think these are the assets that you're familiar with. But we also invest in private assets like private equity, real estate, as well as infrastructure. Recently, we also added private credit in our mandate. Yeah, I am tasked to share my journey with you. But before that, let me start with this. If you are aiming to build your career in the investment industry, then CFA program is going to be your express pass, not to work, but to gain the knowledge, the real world knowledge and practical knowledge. Of course, it is also not about to just add the 3 letters, the CFAs after your name. I know that's what we all want, right, at the end. That's the end game. But the CFA program actually comes with comprehensive syllabus that covers almost everything from ethics to portfolio management, right? It actually tells employers that, yes, I know what I'm talking about, and no, I don't just chat GPT everything lah, right? I'm not sure how many of you actually have paid attention on the historical CFA passing rate. Right? If you are interested, you actually can check out at the CFA Institute website. But from what I gathered, they have data since 1963, if not mistaken. But in the recent years, really, out of 2 candidates, only 1 will pass the exam. The CFA exam is no joke. Well, at least for me. At least also for Vicky. Yeah. It's not like walking in a park. I think I want to borrow what Khok has said. It's like running a marathon. But this marathon, the finish line keep moving further just when you think you are getting close. But well, this is what I learned. Going through it, it isn't just about how smart are you, right? Or how many ridiculous formulas that you can memorize. It's really about that stubborn, persistent, and never give up attitude, even when things get very tough. Let me give you some, but to fit into today's topic, I would like to call all this as grids, right? Let me just give you some context about my journey. I'm a mother of 3 kids with no helper at home. No mother-in-law, no parents. They're both from, I'm from Kuantan and my husband's family is from Penang. So if you think studying for CFA is very hard, it's tough. Imagine doing it with a baby crying for you after 20 minutes of your midnight readings. Waking up is already very difficult. And after 20 minutes, your baby cries for you. Where's mommy? And you have at the same time another toddler who will keep asking you deep philosophical questions while you're cramming for your exam. Seriously, my journey has been anything but smooth. And to be honest, I also didn't pass all 3 levels on my first attempt. No. I still remember the statements when I opened the email and saw this. We are sincerely regrets to inform you that you did not pass your level 2. I'm pretty sure that I aged 10 years in just 10 seconds and making all my skincare products useless. As if balancing between work, family, and study wasn't enough. I actually pregnant during 2 of my exam periods. At one point, I even bleeding during my 7-month pregnancy. Then I asked myself, should I give up? No, I kept going. Why? Guess what? Because once you have paid for those exam fees, you want to make sure you show up. At least to gain some exam experience for your next sitting, right? Or to make the chart, you know, the bar chart, the bell chart, you make the left-hand side of the curve for your friends, right? Every 2 candidates, 1 will pass. So you're making up the curve for your friends. Yeah. So now, if you're making your mind or you're considering taking the CFA program, here's a pro tip actually. Start to love coffee. Because it's going to be your new best friend. Actually, CFA also, we have like the latte art class, right? You see how how important is coffee for us? No, I just joking. Guess what actually kept me going through all this? It wasn't just coffee, though it certainly helped. It was grades. Grade is actually the inner voice that said, keep going. Even though everything in you wants to stop. I know failing an exam is tough, especially like people like Vicky that never had the experience before. But feeling and having to tell your boss that, boss, I think I need another week off for my next sitting. It's even tougher, right? But grades helped me keep going, thick face. I remember my former CEO, Dato' Azian. She asked me how I did on my exam. This is what I answered. I smiled and I answered, well, Dato', I think the syllabus is very meaningful and applicable for our work. I think I'm going to take it next year again. Thick face. Yeah. I keep going forward, right? If I have learned anything in this wild ride, is that actually grit is not something that you are born with. Grit is something that you can build it like a muscle. And here's a few tips that I learned along the way that helped me a lot. Firstly, always remember your why. I think one of the hardest thing about this CFA program is to stay motivated while the finish line seems so far away, right? Tough. But of course, there were times when I asked myself whether all these late nights, Saturday, Sunday, early mornings, really worth it. But then I remember why I started it. Of course, it is not just about my passions to the investment industry. I really want to know more. But it is also, I started thinking myself, I don't know about yourself, but I started to think about myself as a commodity, as a product. How can I make myself more marketable? How? And at the point of time, I find that earning a CFA Charterholder seems to be the best way to add value to me. So always remember the why. And the why is the things that gave me the push that I needed to keep going. Second point, break it down. I think the CFA program is still 6 modules. No, more than that. Okay. Conclusion, 10. So huge. It's almost like an all-you-can-eat buffet. Huh? So break it down into bite-sized pieces, right? I usually will start with the chapters that I enjoy reading the most. I think not hard to guess. I like to start with fixed income and derivatives. Yeah. So back then, when upon registration, you will get the hard copy of the books. What I did is I tear it down and break it down into sub-chapters. Yes, I tear my book. Sorry, for those who likes the book. Yeah, I tear the book into small sub-chapter and I do one sub-chapter at a time. And each of these is a step closer to your very far finish line. Third point, lean on your support system. Don't be afraid to ask for help. I was very, very lucky to have a babysitter who didn't mind working extra hours. And my husband, he's not here today, but he did a lot of work. So I have to say this, he stepped up whenever he could, and he took up most of the responsibility at home so that I can focus on my study. So find a good partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, doesn't matter. And my current employer, Khok, paid for my exam fee. Actually, Khok paid for CFA classes as well as study materials if you think you need it. My late boss, Encik Hisham, he supported all my study leaves, and also my colleagues cover me when I while I'm away for the exam or study leave. So I'm very grateful that I had all this support throughout my CFA journey. I wasn't doing it alone, and I don't think I can do it alone also. So if you think you don't have a support system, build one. It's key, especially for those who have multiple roles. I saw questions like, if I have kids, I have parents to take care, how? Right? How to balance it? So talk to the people around you, especially your loved ones. Get them on board. Whether it's your parents, your spouse, your girlfriend, boyfriend, friends, or colleagues, having someone who really understands and support your goal is so important, and it makes all the difference. Last but not least, embrace the setback. It's okay if you feel it's okay to feel sad, because you need time to digest the disappointment, especially the first one, those that first time encounter that feeling and exam. But get back up. Don't let that sad moment actually turn into a months-long Korean or Chinese drama. No. Feeling means you are trying, and trying is how you get better. I think Chinese like to say this. It's an old statement that my dad always said. 失败是成功之母. It's something. It means each setback is actually a lesson in disguise. And hopefully the setbacks actually prepare you stronger for your next challenge. So the bottom line here is, yes, the CFA program is tough, but so are you. Like Vicky said, the intelligence will get you to the starting point, but grit is the one that will get you to the finish line. If I can balance between work, family, and a few crazy moments, I believe so you can as well, right? And one last thing, remember to stay positive, laugh even when you think it's impossible. The path to becoming a CFA charter holder is not easy. But with grades, I believe it's absolutely achievable. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. A big round of applause for Ms. Khok Kuan. Thank you so much for sharing with us your past experiences and being very, very honest with it as well. We truly appreciate it. Next, we got one more guest speaker. Let's invite Mr. Kelvin Low, CFA Fixed Income Portfolio Manager from Public Mutual, to please share with us his experiences right now. Let's give him a warm welcome up on stage, everybody.
Thank you so much, MC. Good afternoon to students, fellow CFA members, guests. Very happy to be here. And thanks for the wonderful sharing of Vicky and Lee Kuan. Now, I just realized after my session will be your lucky draw and also your lunch. I promise you I'll make it brief, okay? Now, I think for this session, probably 3 of us may have read the same book. A book from Angela Duckworth, published in 2016, on the topic of grit. Now, I just want to take this opportunity to break it down. It's more than 150 pages. I just break it down to this concept called 2 Ds, which can help you in your grit journey towards obtaining your CFA certification. Now, the first D is very important because we have to fix the first D before we move to the second D. Now, the first D is simple, direction. Like what Lee Kuan said, know your why. Imagine if you are flying, it's a night flight, total darkness. Guess what? The pilot will still be able to bring you to your destination, correct? So that tells you how powerful is direction. So each of you may have to have some inward introspection, find out your unique motivation. Why do you want to pursue CFA? What does it mean to you? Because the stronger is the reason, the stronger it will pull you, especially when we are faced with challenges. Yeah, you have heard a lot of challenges shared by the previous 2 speakers earlier. So know your reason, find your unique motivation. Whereas for me, it's very simple. Back then, I was just thinking about 3 things. CFA program could provide me these 3 capital. But back then, my mind was only fixated with the first capital, which is human capital. Okay, you would have seen CFA program is very comprehensive. You look at the syllabus, it's as though they want you to be a specialist. It is as though they want you to be a generalist. But I look at it as both. It's a mixture of both. It can train you to be a general specialist, given the breadth and also the depth of the program. So to me, a good training background to deepen my knowledge in finance, and not forgetting a good training background of your ABC. Attitude, behavior, and character. You need positive attitude, you need to be disciplined, which is your disciplined behavior, which is an important characteristic, yeah, for you to cross the finish line. And with that deeper knowledge on finance, that helped my transition. Yeah, I used to be a trainer giving training on unit trust investment. So once I passed my level 2, I moved on to fixed income research and subsequently assumed my current role in fund management. So that's a bit of my story. Now, number 2, second capital. With better human capital, as you progress in your career, that leads to better financial capital. That's the second point. Now, the third benefit, I didn't really realize back then, but now as time goes by, I think it's super important as well. The third one is also the reason why we are here, right? We nurture friendship, we cultivate networks. It's basically called SC, social capital. So 3 capital that I gained over the years, and it has been helpful for me in my post-CFA journey as well. Now, that is on the direction, which is your internal motivation, okay, why you are pursuing that program. Now, if you are someone who needs a bit of external motivation, it may help to get some role model or probably mentor, yeah? For example, for my case, I have benefited from a few mentor or role models. One of the notable mention, just to share with you here, is our CFA Malaysia current president, Jin Yong. Mr. John Jin Yong, amazing engineering graduate, E&E, worked in IT while he was studying for CFA, and he taught me fixed income. He taught me fixed income from level 1 to level 3. So back then, my thinking was very simple. Engineering graduate can pass CFA, you know. I'm a finance graduate. I must be able to do it. So that is just a very simple external motivation. But above all else, look for your internal motivation. I think that will serve as your anchor. Now, that's one of the first D. Now, move to second D, determination. Our friend has mentioned effort, okay? May take precedence more compared to talent. Now, imagine, right? Normally, we don't slim down overnight, right? Normally. You need to put in daily effort. Even after you have slimmed down, you need to maintain a healthy weight. You also need daily effort as well. So to borrow the words from this author, Angela Duckworth, author behind this book called Grit, it means effort count twice, right? Like what Jin Yong mentioned in the morning, 1,000 hours to pass your level 1, 2, 3. And back then, when I was doing my level 1, 2, 3, I literally tracked. This week, have I done my 15 to 20 hours? Have I achieved my 300 hours or more? So I literally track every week, yeah, just to make sure I'm on track. Now, that is on the determination part. I also want to share with you 2 quick stories on some of the friends of mine that touched me when it comes to determination. A friend of mine who is couldn't pass through level 2 for 2 times. I wouldn't say he failed. He marched on and he completed level 3. And bear in mind, before COVID, this was before COVID, level 3 exam, level 2 exam was only offered once a year. He couldn't get through 2 times. So imagine the long, painful wait just to sit for the exam again. Of course, nowadays, you have higher number of exam frequency, but again, you still have to put in a lot of effort. Now, story number 2, a friend of mine as well, who is currently a buy-side equity fund manager, study level 1 when he was in final year university. So he was sharing with me, every day I go to classes, I have to prepare for my final exam, my assignment, I have to attend CFA classes as well. So every day is about attending classes. But eventually he marched on and he passed it. So this is just personally, this is my take, yeah? I'm not sure if it resonates well with you. If there's something that you would like to pursue, if it is worth pursuing, it may imbalance your life for a little while. So this is just my take. Yeah, if it makes sense to you, probably something that may resonate with you. Okay. Now the 2D, direction, determination. To give you a bit more holistic view, don't forget to sleep well, the fundamental, sleep well, stay physically active, and have some humility, not to take things too seriously. I remember when I studied for level 1, that time we received hard copy book, and I received this little postcard from CFA Institute. I still keep it until today. That postcard is a picture of an apple. Can you imagine? CFA Institute sent us a box of textbook and a little postcard. Picture of apple with 4 words on that postcard. What are the 4 words? Apple is a food. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, you can check it out for those who study in 2010 and the rest if you still keep it. The moment I saw that, I was laughing. Yes, apple is a food. I know that. But upon reflection, maybe this is also tell us sometimes the importance of humility. Take some break, recharge yourself, so that you can have more energy to continue your journey. Okay, it's very important, yeah? Now, last but not least, I just want to leave you with this story as a closing. The story of Big Panda and Tiny Dragon. I saw some people ask about journey earlier, how is journey, etc. Big Panda and Tiny Dragon, they are traveling to a place one day. And the Big Panda asked the Tiny Dragon, which is more important, the journey or the destination? What do you think? The Tiny Dragon answer. The Tiny Dragon is full of wisdom. And Tiny Dragon answered to the Big Panda, it is the company that is more important. Now, don't get me wrong. Crossing the finish line, passing your exam is important. But probably we'll agree that the journey, our previous panelists mentioned, enjoy your journey. The journey that you endure to earn that certification also hold a lot of value. But to make things easier, if you have a group of friends, study mates, who can motivate each other, study together, better still, if each of them has their own strength, I'm sure they have. Maybe one of my friends has a strength in fixed income. One has a strength in corporate finance. Another one derivative. It will make my life so much easier. I know who to ask. That will help me to shorten and flatten my learning curve. So remember, the 2Ds are important. Passing the exam is important. The journey is important as well. But don't forget, get a good company. That will make your journey more enjoyable. Because in my case, back then when I studied, I only have 2 study mates. And both of them are expert in corporate finance. They are still practicing corporate finance until today. So whenever I have any questions on corporate finance, I know who to ask and make my life so much easier. So if you have a group of diverse people in your study group member, and I'm sure they are also gritty people, it will make your journey more enjoyable. Okay? So with that, I wish you every success and I have a productive career day ahead. Okay? Thank you.